to another episode of Entrepreneurs in Fuego. We're documenting the journey of incredible entrepreneurs, one digital footprint at a time. Mitchell Yao, my best friend. You're saving the planet, man.
Working on it.
You're doing a lot more than a lot of people are doing with actually simplifying innovation, torque trends. Mm-hmm. Tell us about the business.
Well, the business started a few years back. I was working for a company in San Diego that manufactures auxiliary transmissions. And as their general manager, I was doing a lot of trade shows and international shows, and we were getting a lot of requests for a gearbox from the electric conversion market. They wanted something different than what we made. And the owner there wasn't interested. He thought electric vehicles was a fad. It would come, it would go.
How long ago was this, Mitchell?
This was 2010, 11, in that range. And
he's thinking
right.
The electric car, that's just a little fad.
Exactly.
Wow.
And the more I looked into that market and the more I talked to people in that industry, the more passionate I got about that. And there was a product, an avenue for us to really make a difference there. But management wasn't interested. So in 2012, I left the company, moved to Arizona to start our company and build our product. And so here we go.
Here we go is right. And tell us about the product that you built.
Well, we started with the gearbox that the market was asking for,
right.
Primarily the electrification market, where they're taking existing vehicles and taking out the gas or taking out the diesel and converting to electric.
And you can do that.
Right. You can do it really with just about any vehicle, not that it makes sense for every vehicle.
What specific vehicle does not make sense? I mean,
well, long range, heavy vehicles, long range,
okay.
And that's coming, but it's just a little further down the road.
All right.
There are
give me a typical vehicle that this would make sense to do.
Well, grassroots electrification, where people with their keeper cars, sports cars,
okay.
Corvettes, Porsches, stuff like that, that they wanted to keep the car, but they wanted to do the green thing. So they would convert them to electric and keep the handling, the performance, and the looks of the vehicle that they love, but be able to not purchase gas anymore and not pollute anymore.
And so your company comes in and does that conversion.
Well, that was the beginning.
Okay.
And what we did was we built a Mazda Miata electric. Took a 1999 Mazda Miata and electrified it. So the gas is gone, the fuel tank's gone, it's got batteries in it, an electric motor, and we built that really to be our test mule for developing our gear product. And so we've had a lot of fun with that. We've won.
What were people's reactions when they see the Mazda Miata come in and make no noise?
Yeah, it's a little different.
What's happening?
And we customized the car and made it a show car too, because
sure.
we were going to use it as a show vehicle. We won international award at SEMA in Las Vegas with the car and the product. And but the product's much bigger than that. But really started around this gearbox. And the more we got into the market and started feeling the needs in the market, we saw that the real opportunity to make a big difference was with fleet vehicles, not with
sure.
the sports cars or the individuals, but with fleets and large fleets that have, hundreds or thousands of vehicles that are
sure.
using gasoline and polluting. And there was a need there. There's also some pressure coming from the feds, and with laws that are currently on the books, and every time we turn around, the fleet average has to be higher. This next one would be 2025 with 54.5 mile per gallon
there's
fleet
that
average.
mandate, you bet, yeah.
So there's a number of actually executive orders and mandates that are coming down, and the fleets are starting to feel that. For example,
they have no choice; they have to do it.
They really do, and it is coming. And as you know, there's electric cars on the market. You can go buy. There's like 15 different, make model electrics that you could buy today. The most popular being the Nissan Leaf, the Chevy Volt, and of course Tesla.
Sure, of course.
Leader in the industry.
And a lot of hybrids as well.
A lot of hybrids, but most of it is car. And then in the mid-size truck, your bigger delivery trucks with your UPS and your Frito-Lays and Pepsi-Cola and stuff, a lot of those have gone hybrid and electric. But in the light truck market, your fleet delivery, van, and half-ton pickup, there's kind of a void. There's a need, but nobody, Ford, GM, Dodge, nobody's making an electric vehicle, and especially kind of a niche market, but especially the short range, the route vehicle, short range, doesn't need to run to San Diego and back, but just run around the local community making his deliveries, or service vehicles. Municipalities are a great example.
Right.
And so our product, the gearbox, and we were selling it into the marine industry where there's a lot of electrification going on. We were selling it into the cars and trucks, mostly the keeper vehicles. And we debuted our Miata to the city of Surprise. And the mayor drove the car, really liked it. And the city manager came to us and said, we would like to partner with your company and have you do a pilot project with us. And we've got a lot of trucks, and there's nothing for us. We buy Nissan Leafs for our admin people, but we've got nothing for all of our service guys. So they gave us an F-150 Super Crew Cab pickup truck.
And actually,
yeah, that's
this
this
is the picture.
vehicle.
So this is the. Let me see if there's another picture in here of it, but yeah, well, here it is. So this is the car. So you took this F-150.
Right.
And so what happens with it?
So the 5-liter gas engine came out, the 6-speed automatic transmission came out, and an electric motor with a 1-speed, our gearbox, single speed, no shift, transmission went in. And so it's fully electric, zero emissions. And this, it's really important, it's a big part of our business model, is that by taking an existing vehicle, not building a new vehicle from scratch, but take an existing vehicle and convert it to electric. That is the absolute smallest carbon footprint path to a zero emissions vehicle. It's a lot of people don't know this, but if you take and build a new vehicle, the carbon footprint of building that vehicle, everything from digging the iron ore for the frame and all that, is huge. In fact, it's equivalent to about 10 years use of the vehicle carbon footprint.
Just building that vehicle?
Building the vehicle.
Wow.
10 years. It's equivalent to 10 years use of that carbon
Whereas
vehicle.
you have a vehicle that has already been built, and you're going to...
That carbon footprint's there. There's nothing you can do about it. It's already there.
It's already there. You're going to convert it into an electric vehicle. Now
you've got a zero emissions vehicle, and that was that's the shortest path and the cleanest path to getting that zero emission.
the life expectancy of a vehicle like that, all things being equal, I get it if they're going to run it to death, but is it longer, much longer with this conversion?
Much longer, and that's where a lot of the return on investment lies, is in the longevity.
Yeah.
An electric motor has one moving part. It's got a rotor. Usually sits in ceramic bearings, and it's got a real long life expectancy. The same thing with our gearbox. We're no longer a 6-speed. It doesn't shift. It doesn't have clutches and solenoids and all these parts that can go wrong. It's got one gear. It's just a reduction, so it's very simplified, as our slogan says, and that gives you longevity.
That is incredible. And then the car looks the same? No,
Looks the same. We kept it as Ford as possible, and this again is...
It's just the guts of the car that has been changed. That's it.
Right. Engine and transmission pulled out and our parts went in. Now what we did in this particular pilot project was we wanted to build a bolt-on plug-and-play package so that any fleet mechanic could install our product. We wouldn't have to do every one. And so to do that, we took the Ford and we said, we're not going to drill a hole in this Ford. We're not going to cut on this Ford. We're not going to weld on this Ford. We're going to keep it as Ford as possible. We're only going to replace what needs to be replaced to make it an electric Ford. So in doing that, we used all of the mount locations and hardware locations and all that Ford provided. And we engineered around that so that the electric motor, the gearbox, you've got a number of auxiliary components. You now have an electric air conditioning compressor. It's not belt driven. There's no belt to drive it.
Everything is electric in there.
You have a computer-controlled electric water pump. It's not belt-driven. There's no belt to drive it. So all of these auxiliary components, you are now driving off the battery pack. And it all has to be through a computer, through software.
With one charge, how far does the car
Well,
go?
it's interesting. Short range is what we built this for, an urban vehicle. The City of Surprise fleet manager asked us for 50 miles a day. They charge every night. So we built this one with a 30 kilowatt hour battery pack,
All right.
which would give them about 75 miles, a little cushion. 75 miles a day They're thrilled with the vehicle and its performance. It's getting about 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour, and they just love the performance of it.
Tell us a little bit about this.
Well,
this
that's
little
just a
thing.
little promo, a little giveaway item. It is battery electric. Had to be battery electric, no gas-powered flashlights, right? And just our logo. But this looks like our product, our original prototype.
That's the original
product
prototype.
was anodized black and machined after the anodizing. So it's just a little giveaway. That's your gift.
I appreciate it, sir.
bet.
So when you were a kid, did you build things when you were a kid?
No, I tore things apart.
You tore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet your parents were happy with you just coming into the house and
Now I build things. Now I know how.
Mitchell, yeah. Amazing, changing the world. I mean, my respect. This is a beautiful thing. Appreciate it. And then you got an award from, and actually written up by, one last thing, by...
Well, Charged Magazine, which
Charged
is the
Magazine, yeah.
elite publication in the hybrid and electric industry worldwide. And they just did an 8-page feature editorial on our product in Charged Magazine. We're real happy with that. The September-October issue.
We're going to send people to torquetrends.com so that they can see the article.
Great.
torquetrends.com.
Yep.
When are you going public?
Well, we really just pulled our trigger, our marketing trigger, with an
This is
event we
this
had
is an
this
easy
week.
one, I think.
Yeah. And just starting to advertise, just pulled our trigger. We've got a number of fleets, larger fleets that are have asked for requests for quotes.
All the cities throughout the United States. I mean, this is no-brainer.
It's perfect for a municipality, for military bases. Again, short range, they run around the base, that type of thing. And any of your commercial vehicles. You know, it's actually interesting. We did a survey and we found that about 75% of all the light-duty pickups and vans in the country could get by with 50, 60 miles a day range. People aren't, as a rule, the masses aren't driving hundreds of miles, and they don't need to pay for something that they're not going to use.
Sure.
If you buy a hybrid vehicle, you can drive it to San Diego and back, but not on battery. But you're buying a dual system. It's always going to be more expensive to buy a hybrid than to buy a battery electric. So we believe in designing the vehicle to give the fleet owner what they need, no excess.
Mitchell, yeah, changing the world, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's amazing. With that, we're out.
Welcome to the remix. Prestige.